Hey everybody, Danny Harris here. How are we all today? A very important video for you today, and this is without a doubt the big three of golf marketing, or any marketing really, if I'm perfectly honest. And I've put the Nicklaus player and Palmer analogy in there. They were obviously the big three in golf, and these three things are as important to your golf, if not more, golf marketing, if not even more important than these guys were in the world of golf in the sort of the 60s and 70s and so on. And it's very simple like this. There are the three M's, are the three corners of any kind of marketing campaign anywhere. But the problem is everyone gets the three M's completely back to front. And let me sort of talk you through and explain to you why I'm saying this. Now, your three M's are your market, your message, and your media. Okay, now your market is obviously who do you want to talk to, your message is what you want to tell them, and your media is how you're going to tell them, i.e. a magazine and whatever. And everyone gets this completely arse about face. Now, let me explain it to you like this. If most people, what they do is they say, we need to get some members into our golf club, or I need some coaching clients, or I need to sell some golf equipment. Well, let's put a magazine advert out because a magazine rep just called us and told us there's this great offer. Or somebody called from a radio station and said, why don't you put an advert on the radio? And you say, oh, advert on the radio, that's a bloody good idea. Let's do that. Let's put an advert on the radio. And then you might think, let's do some Facebook advertising. You start doing Facebook advertising, or whatever else there happens to be. People generally start with the media, and that's completely the wrong way round. And let me explain to you why. The first thing you need to think about is your market. Now, if I say to you, who is your market to play golf at your golf club? You could say anybody in the country. And well, let's narrow it down a bit. Anybody in the country that plays golf. Okay, yeah, they'll do. Well, no, and that's an almost impossible group of people to ever kind of make contact with unless you've got enormously deep pockets. Let's say there's 2 million people in the country play golf. You're not going to get to all of them, and unless you're one of the really, really super big players, as in the top, I don't know, 10 or 15 most famous golf clubs in the country, people aren't going to travel from Scotland to the south of England to play your golf club. And even if you were one of those massive golf clubs, they're not going to do it every week. So there's a much easier kind of a lower hanging fruit group of people that you can target first. So even within that, you look at your market, you think, well, who is the ideal person? What kind of golf course are we? If you're, for an example, an open championship venue that's incredibly long, an incredibly difficult course, full of prestige and all of that, and I love all of these courses, don't get me wrong, but if you were one of those courses, you probably wouldn't want to target real beginner golfers, because it's kind of going to be a bit too difficult for them. They're not going to kind of enjoy the day as much as potentially a lower handicap person would do. You're probably not going to target seniors because, some of the seniors might find it a bit of a struggle. If they're better player seniors, great, bring them on. I'm not suggesting that they can't come. I'm just thinking your ideal person. And if you start to think about your ideal person, you can then sort of think about, well, what am I trying to say to this person? So you've got your market. So who are we talking to? And when you've got your market, as in who are we talking to, you can start to think, well, how can I talk to these people? Because if you're going to talk to, let's suppose, in a group of youngsters, you're going to use a very different language and very different way of talking to those people than you are if you're going to talk to a group of seniors. You would potentially use different language if you're talking to a group of ladies as if you're talking to a group of men, because they have different wants and needs around their golf game and so on. So once you've got your market established and you've got a really clear idea of who you want to talk to, only then can you work out what is in fact now your message that you want to say to them. And depending on who these people are, as I say, once you've got the market clarified, your message starts to become a bit clearer because you start to understand how to talk to the people that you're actually trying to target. You get a very clear idea about, if you walked into a group of people who were, I don't know, billionaire fund managers for a merchant bank, you're going to speak very differently as if you're going to go to a group of people who are, I don't know, on a building site, for example. Not that there's anything wrong with either group, but it's just a different environment. So they have different wants, needs, desires. So therefore your message even though it's for the same thing and the same product, will need to be slightly different if you really want to pique the interest of these people. And if you can kind of get a real clear image of who these people are in your head that you're talking to, your message to them becomes so much clearer and so much easier to get across to someone and actually resonate with the person that you're trying to talk to. Now, only then, when you've got that clear in your head, only then can you move on to what is your media. So let's suppose, for example, if you were talking purely digitally at the moment, the youngsters all use something called Snapchat. You are unlikely to find any person over the age of about 25 or 30 on Snapchat. What's the point in advertising there if you're targeting seniors? You know, it just doesn't make sense. If we go back, something I sort of missed out on the market section, sorry, I should have covered this in there, is when you've got your market in mind, you can start to work out, well, where do these people hang out? And when I say hang out, I don't mean go down the pub. I mean, you know, where would you find these people where they could put their eyes onto your marketing campaign? So, for example, most people are on Facebook, so you could advertise on Facebook. That's a given. Golf magazines could be a given. But again, if it's a national coverage golf magazine, if you put out an ad in that magazine, there's, I don't know what the percentage would be, 95% of people are not going to be within, let's say, 20 miles of your golf club. So 95% of your paid advertising is going to dead traffic. So it's kind of pointless putting it out there. If you can get a local golf magazine, different story altogether, or if they do some kind of localization on their marketing, different story. Again, if you're your Wentworths or your Royal Birkdales of this world, then potentially an ad in a national magazine could work because you can get people in. But that's part of their market, and because they understand their market, they understand the message they can send out, and then they understand the media. As I say, what most people do wrong is they start straight away with the media, as in, I'm going to put an ad in a magazine. Why? I've no idea, because I don't know who I'm sending my advert to yet, and I don't even know what I'm trying to say to them because I don't know who they are. So it clearly doesn't work out, and you have to do it in the correct order. So start with your market, move to your message, and only then can you work out what kind of media you are going to use to get your message across to people. I hope that makes sense. I will be back tomorrow with another video, and it's strangely, I might even do another one a little bit later about KFC, but that's another story that we'll come to later. All right, I hope you're all well. I'll speak to you soon. Bye bye.